Good evening, everyone. My name is Kiefer Lopes, and this is my methodology presentation. Since my last presentation, my research topic has changed from the evaluating the effectiveness of security assurance models in Ghana's commercial ISPs, a study of internet procurement and the criteria for service provision, and is now the criteria for internet service provision and procurement for the government of Guyana's ministries and agencies. The research overview. The objective of this study is to develop thorough standards for procurement and provisioning of internet services by the ministries and agencies of the government of Ghana. The research will emphasize integrating methodological cybersecurity measures to bridge the gaps in the current procurement procedure and safeguard against cyber attacks. The study uses a mixed methodology approach to collect data on present practices, difficulties, and expectations from the government ICT and procurement workers using quantitative surveys and qualitative interviews, developing a secure, effective, and standard compliant procurement process is the aim to improve Guyana's government cybersecurity posture and the digital governance. My research objectives is to identify the current criteria used for internet service provision and procurement by the government of Ghana for its ministries and agencies, evaluate the effectiveness of the procurement process and the criteria in ensuring a reliable internet service provision, outline these specific criteria and standards that government agencies should consider when procuring internet services from ISPs in Ghana with a focus on ensuring security. Provide a recommendations for optimizing the internet service procurement process in terms of cybersecurity compliance, aiming to improve adherence to cybersecurity standards and practices, and investigating the impact of cybersecurity policies and regulations in Ghana on the operational practices and services provision standards of internet service providers in relation to the internet procurement. Okay, so the research design will be adopting a mixed method approach which combines the qualitative and quantitative research methods using surveys. Survey research strategy. This approach will provide a comprehensive understanding of cybersecurity landscape for the ISPs in Ghana. The data collection method. So when using surveys, it would develop and distribute structured service targeting ICT and procurement staff within various government organizations in Ghana. The survey will focus on their experiences, perceptions, and challenges related to cybersecurity in their dealing with ISPs. The sample selection will be using a purposive sampling. This approach specifically targets individuals within various government departments and at different levels of ICT responsibility who are directly involved in or are knowledgeable about the procurement and provisioning of internet services. By focusing on these selected groups, the research aims to gather in-depth and relevant insights that accurately reflect the complexities and challenges of internet service procurement and the provision within the government context. The survey instruments, when speaking on this, the survey design including a mix of closed-ended questions for statistical analysis and open-ended questions to capture detailed responses. The topics that will be covered will be questions in areas like satisfaction with ISPs, security measures, awareness of cybersecurity policies, experiences with cyber threats, and the perceived effectiveness of the current cybersecurity practices. The statistical analysis in regards to the data analysis that will be used, the use of statistical tools to analyze the quantitative data from the surveys. This may include descriptive statistics, correlation analysis, and regression analysis to identify the trends and relationships. Um, the qualitative component, the data collection method for this will be interviews, which will be conducted with officials involved in internet service procurement and provisioning for government agencies such as procurement officers, IT managers, cybersecurity personnel. These semi-structured interviews aim to gather comprehensive insights in the criteria used for selecting ISPs, the integration of security measures in the procurement process, and the challenges faced in aligning procurement with cybersecurity standards. The participation selection, this will be using the purposive sampling, ensure that they have relevant experience and insights into ISP cybersecurity and auditing processes again. With an open-ended question to explore in-depth views on cybersecurity practices, challenges in procurement based on the robust cybersecurity criteria and potential areas of improvement. The topics that will be covered in the interviews would be procurement challenges, exploring the difficulties faced during the procurement process, especially regarding the evaluation of ISP cybersecurity standards, criteria for ISP selection, inquiring about the criteria used to select ISPs for government services, with an emphasis on the security aspect, awareness and training, questions related to the level of cybersecurity awareness among staff involved in the procurement and training provided, policies and regulations, exploring how government agencies ensure compliance with national and international cybersecurity policies and regulations during the ISP procurement process, incident response and management, inquiring about the experiences with cybersecurity incidents related to procured services and the effectiveness of the response strategies, and future plans and improvements, discussing any plans on desired improvements and cybersecurity practices for future procurement processes. Okay, evaluation of the methodology overview. The mixed method approach ensures a comprehensive collection of data by capturing both the numerical data through surveys and detailed insights through interviews. This dual approach is crucial for multifaceted topics like ISP provision and procurement, which involves both measurable factors and complex quantitative aspects. This methodology is inclusiveness enables a holistic understanding of the current landscape and the identification of nuanced areas for improvement. Where there's comprehensive data collection. By using the mixed methodology approach, it ensures a comprehensive collection of data by capturing both the numerical data through surveys and detailed insights through interviews. This dual approach is crucial for this multifaceted approach. As I said before, the addressing of the research questions effectively. Each component of the methodology directly contributes to addressing the research questions. The quantitative surveys provide an empirical data to assess current procurement processes, with qualitative interviews which offer depth, exploring the reasons behind these processes and the challenges faced. This combination particularly is useful for the nuanced questions that require understanding the why and how behind the observable phenomena, such as the integration of cybersecurity criteria in the procurement process. Target sampling selection by using the purposive sampling for its ability to target individuals who are most relevant for the research questions. This sampling method ensures that the participants have direct experience or knowledge related to the internet service procurement and provision, making the data collection highly pertinent to the study. The decision to focus on ICT and procurement staff within the government organization is justified by their direct involvement in the procurement process and their potential to provide insight in the operational, strategic, and security aspect of the internet service that's being procured. The suitability for the study of context, the mixed methodology approach is particularly suited to the context of Ghana, where the procurement of internet service involves a complex interplay of technical requirements and security concerns, and the regularity framework. By employing both quantitative and qualitative methods, the research can capture the specifics of the Guyanese context, including the challenges and expectations of government agencies in procuring internet services that meet security and performance criteria. And lastly, the foundation for the actionable recommendations. The chosen methodology is appropriate for this in its potential to yield actionable recommendations. The integration of findings from both the surveys and interviews facilitate a nuanced understanding of the existing gaps in the procurement process. This comprehensive insight allows for the formulation of a targeted recommendations that are grounded in empirical data and enriched by qualitative depth, ensuring that they are relevant, practical, and effective in enhancing the procurement and provision of internet services to these government agencies and ministries. And here we are with the limitations. So the sample representation, even with the purposive sampling, there's a risk that the selected participants might not fully represent the diverse perspectives within the government ministries and agencies in Ghana. This limitation could affect the generalization of the findings to all relevant entities involved in the internet service provision. Subjectivity in qualitative analysis. Despite the efforts to maintain objectivity and qualitative analysis, such as a thematic analysis of the interview data, inherently involved interpretation by the researcher, and this subjectivity could influence the identification and interpretation of the theme, potentially introducing bias in the findings, which leads me to the response bias, where participants in both surveys and interviews may exhibit response biases such as the desire to present themselves or their organization in a positive light, or simply responding in a manner that they believe the researcher wants. This could affect the authenticity of the data collected. There's a limited scope. There's the external validity, where while the study aims to develop criteria recommendations for the context of the Guyanese citizens those employed within the government agencies and ministries, the findings may not directly be applicable to other regions or countries without considering local variations in the regulations, the technology, and the cultural context. And then there's the resource constraints. Conducting comprehensive mixed method research requires a significant amount of resources, including time, financial investment, and expertise in both quantitative and qualitative. Constraints in any of these areas could limit the depth and breadth of the evaluation. And thank you.